Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. And tonight, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to set up a World Cup format for college football using second and 10 football. Um, Second and 10, it's probably I don't know, it's my favorite football game. For simulations, for historical simulations, it's probably up there. Um, because it has the college angle as well as the NFL. You get great bang for your buck as well. Pro Strategy Football 23 and the new version coming out. I also like it's a different two different games. I mean two different itches get scratched in those games. So I you can you definitely can own both of them and play different scenarios on both of them. So um, but second 10 football, really cool, especially for a college football fan and so forth. So a little World Cup style. And so if you're not sure, and I had to research this as well, is how they go about making the draws for the World Cup. And so we're going to use the same system for the most part on this. So I went ahead and created a spreadsheet here. Okay. Now, first of all, let me explain how I did the rankings. So if you go to sportsreference.com college football, you see on the screen right here, they have a ranking called the SRS, Simple Rating System. Okay. What it does, it takes the strength of schedule plus the point differential and creates a number. Okay. To do so. So I use it when I'm doing something like this or a tournament. Now, if you look at 83, Auburn had the best SRS ranking. Now, Auburn fans are gonna nod their head like yes, but as you know, the national champion for that year was Nebraska. I'm sorry, Miami. Miami beat Nebraska in that great Rose Bowl. Nebraska went for two. If Nebraska goes for the tie, they're probably national. They're probably national champions. Number one coming in. Auburn felt they got screwed in the whole deal. That Miami jumped them with the win, and so forth. So what I do into the rankings is when I do like a tournament too, I always put the national champion number one, regardless of their SRS ranking. So in this situation here, Miami's four in the SRS. Okay. But for our World Cup, we'll be number one. And then from that point on, we'll use the SRS to rank our 32 teams. So what I'm going to do in the spreadsheet, if you don't know, how they do the spread, how they do the World Cup draw, they create four pods of 8 teams. Okay, let me just fix this real quick. It's driving me nuts. Okay, so pod one is the top 8 teams. Pod two is the second 8 teams. Pod three is the third 8 teams. Pod four is the last 8 teams. Okay, and then you have 8 groups here. Okay, so in the World Cup, you have 8 groups of 4 teams. They play each other. Okay, there's 3 games. They all play each other in the group, and the top 2 teams advance to the knockout stage, so the Sweet 16, and they play a elimination round. Okay, and so how they do it is they draw which teams go into which group. So what they do is for Group A, they're going to pick 1 through 8, which of the top 8 teams goes into Group A. So pod one, the pod one teams can't be in the same group. The pod two teams can't be in the same group. The pod three teams can't be in the same group, and the pod four teams can't be in the same group. Okay, but you can definitely have a more stacked group. For instance, if Miami gets in, I mean Miami should, since they're the best team, have themselves in a pod, Pitt in a pod, Missouri in a pod, Memphis in a pod. Like the three of the group, that work out there. But they might get Clemson, Tennessee, and Southern Miss for the four, that way. So it's kind of a random in that way. And then, of course, Group A, um, and Group B and so forth will kind of match up in terms of how that works. So first with a spreadsheet, then I'll put on second and 10 football and do that. So we're going to random number. All right. So if I go to the website here, random number, 1 through 8, and we're going to go pick our first team here, and it's 6. So number 6 is Bama. We're going to cut them, and they are going in Group A. So Bama goes into Group A. All right. Now we go to Pod 2, and we get the 8th team in Pod 2, which is Pitt. So Pitt will join Bama in Group A. Let's go to Pod 3. Number 6 in Pod 3 is Boston College with Doug Flutie. Doug Flutie's there before his great year, and he is in there. All right. So let's go to the last pod, Pod 4, and we've got the second best team in Pod 4, which is Oklahoma. So Group A has Bama, Pitt, Boston College, and Oklahoma. You got some blue bloods in there with Bama and Oklahoma. Pretty strong Group A right there. So let's go back now. We're going back to Pod 1 now and doing Group B. 8. So BYU, of course, in '84, BYU wins the national championship. They're still a strong team in '83, and they're in Group B. Let's see who goes in Group B from Pod 2. Number 1, that is Clemson. So Clemson goes into Group B. So the 8 and 9 team, that's a pretty even group right there. BYU kind of gets a pretty tough matchup there for them. You assume those are the two teams that probably would advance. I mean, ideally, you would think Bama and Pitt are favored to advance in Group A, and BYU and Clemson favored to advance in Group B. But that's where we play the game. Pod 3, 7. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's UCLA. We'll cut them over here. And UCLA is in Group B. Let's see the last team for Group B. There's 6. That's the Huskies from Washington. So that's so you got 3 Western teams against Clemson, BYU, UCLA, and Washington scoring up there in Group B. All right, let's go to Group C now. Go back to Pod 1, 7. That's Michigan. So Michigan heads up Group C. And now you've got Ohio State in Pod 2. You could have Michigan and Ohio State the same in the same group. Now, I'm sure TV would love that. I'm sure if this was the World Cup of college football, they probably would rig it right here. Let's see if if it rigs out that way. 6. So we're going to 1, 2. Oh wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's Illinois, so you get a Big Ten team in there. but not Ohio State. 8, that's Missouri. All right, last team for the group. 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's Penn State. Whereas Penn State won the national title the year before, so not quite as good as they were the year previous, but still a tough battle right there. And you get a current Big Ten kind of idea. Penn State was in the Big Ten back in '83, obviously, but Michigan, Illinois, Penn State are kind of the Big Ten teams now that we think of. So Group C is done. Um, right there. All right. Let's go to Group D. 2. This is Auburn. Auburn lays the claim being the best team in the country with Bo Jackson. Whoa, so Bo Jackson there. Let's go to the next one. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's Iowa. Iowa and Auburn. We'll go at it right there. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. The Hokies from Virginia Tech. And make that a little bigger. And then 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7's gone. So I'm going to go to just the next one. Okay. So we'll go to Memphis and do it that way. We'll cut Memphis, boom, and put in there. Memphis, Virginia Tech's an old Metro Conference basketball game right there. So Auburn, Iowa, Virginia Tech, and Memphis is in that pod right there. All right, that group. Let's go to Group E now. Group E. 8. So eight's gone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We'll go to Miami as the next one in line. Okay, I'll do it that way. So the Hurricanes, the national champions, will be heading up Group E. 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's the Dirty Terps of Maryland. Of course, they had that famous game um, where they came from behind to beat Miami. Wasn't that the game? Miami had a big lead. Maryland came back. Frank Reich, who did it for the Bills in Maryland. I believe that happened there too. All right, let's go to pod 3. Who do we get? 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll go to Tennessee's next one up. Tennessee gets chosen. A tough matchup right there. And now we go to the last. What happened? 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The Oklahoma State's next one up. So this is pretty interesting here. You've got the Hurricanes, okay? This is the last year of Howard Schnellenberger, all right? And in his group is Oklahoma State, which is coached by Jimmy Johnson, who takes over Miami the following year. So there's a little storyline for you. There's a little storyline, a little college football storyline for you. The 1983 World Cup. What do you think about that? Always love the storylines. Always love them. Let's go to the next group. Got 8. I think 8's gone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we'll go to Nebraska. Nebraska heads up Group F. 3. 1, 2, 3. Florida State. That's a good game. Nebraska, Florida State had a good little rivalry in the '80s too. That's a good little ball game right there. That's must see TV. 1 from pod 3. 1's gone. We're going to The Mountaineers. I like this, a good little group right here. Nebraska, Florida State, West Virginia. I kind of like that 80s football. And then three, one, and the Badgers. The Badgers are in there. All right. Let's go to Group G. 7, 5. So that'll be Florida. The Gators. I guess now I can just do one or two, right? Let's just do it that way. Ohio State goes into Pod 2, or goes into Group G. Gators and Buckeyes. 2, Tar Heels. 1, Southern Miss. Then Group H will be everyone's left. So you got Georgia. Will come in over here. Boom. Texas. See, that's a pretty good. That's a pretty good blue blood. Notre Dame. This is a blue. This is going to be the blue blood. The blue blood group. And East Carolina, not a blue blood. So there are our groups. Bama, Pitt, Boston College. So I mean, right there, I like kind of doing a little. I like doing this little math thing here. See which one's toughest by the ranking. So 6, 16. That's 48, and 16 is 64. That's 70. Let's add these rankings up here. 17, 44, and 17 is what? 61. If I do the math wrong, let me know. 21 and 24 is 45. It's 74. 15, 35, and 32 is 67. 16 and 17 is 33, and 30 is 63. 14, 18, 32 is 59. 46, 56 is 60. And the blue blood is, didn't do that. 17 and 19 is 36, and 28 is 64. So the toughest group is the Group F. So Nebraska does not kick the extra point in that game. They would have. They kind of get they kind of get the screw job here. They got a tough region or a tough group. Followed by Group G is the next toughest, and then Group B, and then Group E, and then Group H, and then Group D, Group A, and Group C. So Group C is I'm not sure the easiest, but the one with the crappiest teams, I guess you can say, right? I mean, um, I guess you can say like, you know, the best way to look at Nebraska being the number one seed for Group F has the toughest road. Or you can say Florida State, the top two teams. I mean, because ideally the top two teams should advance out of each group. So, all right, so let's go take this now and put this in second and 10 football. So second and 10 football, here it is. How I'm going to do this here is I'm going to go ahead and go to college and do season tools. Okay. I'm going to go 32 team World Cup times one. What that means is they play each other one time. Boom. There we go. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and label this World Cup 1983. And then we'll keep it like this. Group A. I should have done divisions, but I'm trying to keep the World Cup fever going. Group B. C. Group D. Oh, I said World Cup one. I'm kind of anal about this stuff. I like it to be labeled right. And a lot of you guys don't give a crap about that, but I do. All right. So Group E. Group F. Group G. And Group H. So a couple things real quick. So when you buy second 10 football, you get every NFL season ever, ever, and for one price, 30. I think it's 39, $49 by the game. I could be wrong. I think it's $50. It's no more than $50. Okay, you get every NFL season, every single one, and when I mean every one, I mean every single one. When the new season for the NFL comes out, you go to the website, you update, you download the latest version of the game, and the new season pops up for you for free. That's NFL now. Now for colleges, you get. I bought a few games. I bought it for college seasons. Okay, for colleges, let me just show you what I have here real quick. For colleges, this is what comes with the game. 63 comes with the game. 56 comes with the game. 59 comes with the game. 66 comes with the game. 69 comes with the game. 77 comes with the game. And then I bought 80. I bought 82. 84 comes with the game. I bought 87. I bought 88. By the way, the seasons are $10, which is unreal. I bought 92. Okay. 95 comes with the game. 99, all these seasons here come with the game. 2000, 2001, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. All come with the game. I bought 15. I bought 16. Any season after 2012, you have to buy for $10. Okay. So keep that in mind. Now you're going, I know you're asking, you didn't see 83. I don't see 83 anywhere. What the hell? Okay. What also comes with the game is the greatest teams from each year. Like, I'm not sure, I think it's like top 50 best teams. Okay. Come with the game, just not the season. So like the seasons you buy, you can buy the complete schedule, the schedule, the bowl games, the whole deal. Okay. So for instance, so here I go to team 80. All right. These are all the teams from the 80s. Okay. That's 89. It kind of goes in order, obviously. Okay. So I want to do 83. So I got to find 83. And so you got to be careful sometimes. 'Cause I've done this, screw up with the wrong damn year in sometimes. Just scroll down where 83 starts. And there we go. Okay. 83 starts here with, let me back up a little bit. The first 83 team is Air Force. Okay. So, so now I'm going to go in and kind of put them in there. So let me go back to my thing real quick. So Group A is Bama, Pitt, Boston College, Oklahoma. Bama, Pitt, Boston College, Oklahoma. So Bama goes in. Boom. I click on them. Boston College. Boom. Pitt. Boom. Oklahoma. Okay. That's Group A. All 83. We're good to go. All right. Let me go ahead and do this again. Group B, BYU, Clemson, UCLA, and Washington. So BYU, boom, Clemson, UCLA, and Washington. So I checked there. They're all 83. They're all good to go. They're good to go. Group C, Michigan, Illinois, Missouri, and Penn State. Michigan, Illinois, Missouri, and Penn State. Michigan, Missouri. There's Michigan. There's Missouri, Illinois, and Penn State. Once again, second and 10 for your bang for your buck. It's the best, and I think it's the best simulation football game. It doesn't have, when you play the game, it's text based. There is no 2D movement or anything like that. I know that sometimes people don't like that stuff, but it's good stuff. All right. If you go watch the second 10 video. I've done games before on here, so you can go and check out the gameplay, and I'll put more games up too. But Group D, what do we got? Auburn, Iowa, Virginia Tech, Memphis. Auburn, Iowa, Virginia Tech, Memphis. Auburn, Auburn, Iowa, Virginia Tech, and Memphis. Now, I'm a little worried that Memphis may not be on here. We'll see. Because I know they're ranked in the SRS, but I'm not sure like how they justify which teams they put in here. Okay, so if Memphis is not in here, we're going to have to make a little adjustment on that. And they're on there. There you go. A little bit worried about that. Sometimes that happens. I should have checked it beforehand, but I didn't. We're okay. Group E, Miami, Maryland, Tennessee, Oklahoma State. Miami, Maryland, Tennessee, What's 13? Oklahoma State. All right, all 83. We got Group E done. Boom, boom, boom. Knocking them out. Knocking them out. Group F, the toughest group we have, right? Nebraska, Florida State, West Virginia, Wisconsin. Nebraska, Florida State. Then click on it. Florida State. I've lost now. Who else is in the ring? I already lost. Nebraska, Florida State, West Virginia, Wisconsin. West Virginia, Wisconsin. My memory isn't what it used to be, folks. Getting older. I can't remember four fucking teams. Wisconsin. Is that right? Did I see? I swear to God, I'm getting dumb. Oh, I got it. All right, Group G. Florida, Ohio State, North Carolina Southern Miss. Florida, Ohio State, Florida, Ohio State, North Carolina, right? Now, like you're gonna talk to me. I'm not doing this live, but like you're gonna say, no, man, you dumbass. Southern Miss. Brett Favre school. This before Brett Favre though. Southern Miss. All right. Four to go. Georgia, Texas, Notre Dame, East Carolina. I should have known this. Georgia, Texas. This is kind of the one I'm looking forward to the most, to be honest with you. Georgia. This is blue blood. This is blue blood. And East Carolina, I've always liked that school. They've had some good little football teams in the day, some underrated teams. They might shock the world in this little group. We never, we never know. There's the Pirates. All right. So World Cup 1983, the rules year. Um, okay. You might know there's a brief break in there. Do not, and I'll repeat, do not change the rules here. And I forgot this happens. Okay, so I changed it to 83, and the game. I'm not sure if you saw it. I think I edited it out, but the game kind of froze up and locked me out. It does that all the time. I don't know why. So just keep the rules here at 2012. You can go back in after. I'll show you to set the options up and everything, but don't do that because it always will close out the game for some reason. That's the only problem I found with this game. Um, just don't close it out. Okay, so when it's save, boom, there it is. So now, when you go into your college seasons, play existing season, look over here under user, you'll see A3 World Cup. Now, real quick, I'm going to show you quick because I think I tried to tell you earlier. These are the games you get with the college seasons you get when you purchase the game. You got all of these, 77, okay, and 84. You don't get 80, 82, 88. I bought those. Well, I bought these here. 92, I bought that one too. You get all these 95, 99 through 2012. Okay. I bought 15 and 16. Once again, they're $10 a season. The ones you don't see. So the new season is not out yet. The 2022 season, last season, is not out yet. The most recent season, 2021. The 2022 season comes out soon. Remember, there's a lot of teams in college football, a lot of players. So it takes a while to do that. Um, There'll be $10, which is a steal. So kind of keep that in mind with that, and I'll kind of go to NFL real quick. NFL seasons once again. You get all these for free. All these for free. When the new season comes out, it's out here. You see 2022 from last year. It's already out there. Okay. Free, free, free. Okay. AFL. Okay. Old NFL style. I'll put the 68 Jets. Boom. Free, free. All right. Let's go into the World Cup. And here we go. We have our groups and we're ready to go. One thing I got to fix Miami. Now, first of all, you can download all these helmet graphics. The Second and 10 website has a little link on mods. You download them, click a button, it does it for you. It's easy, peasy, lemon squeezy. There's one more reason why I like this game. There's some games where it's a lot of work to get all the graphics in there and the fields in there. Um, all the fields, the jerseys, the logos. You click a button, it downloads it into the folder, and you do nothing. Now, occasionally there's this one issue with Miami. Okay, Miami's helmet's not showing up. You're going to go in here, and this is how we're going to do this real quick. Options. By the way, this is how you can change the rules too. One of the rules, the official rules, you can kind of mess around with these here. Okay, make them like you want to. Okay. So team edit Miami. You have to get rid of the Miami Florida part because it's saved differently in the thing. I can just go to the folder, I guess, but I never do. So go in here and change Miami to just Miami. Boom. Come back over here. Voila. There's the U. The U. All right. So these are the matchups week 1. You play 3 weeks. So you have a bracket. Okay, so we look at the standings real quick. There's Group A, Group B, Group C, Group D. Boom. Looking all nice and pretty for you. Let's kind of go through some of these teams real quick now. Brigham Young, Lavelle Edwards, 10-1 in the year. I always look at the rosters, find some names. Steve Young is their quarterback, folks. Remember, he graduates at the end of this year, and Robbie Bosco takes over for him, and BYU wins the national championship in '84. Keep that in mind. So Steve Young's the big man, 33 TDs, 10 picks. You're not going to recognize anybody else. I don't think so. Receivers. Glenn Kozlowski. I think he played in the NFL for a little bit. Defense. So we'll see how they fare up. We'll see how they fare up. We'll see. Up. Let's go back in there. It's like a Clemson. Danny Ford to coach. 9-1-1. Real stats. Kevin Mack running back. Terrence Flagler. There's some familiar names there. Defense, the Fridge. Who else will we recognize? That's pretty much it. Let's go Notre Dame. 6-5 that year with Jerry Faust. Kind of beginning to the end, they got real bad. Steve Berline's their quarterback. Alan Pink had a good NFL career. Mark Bavaro at tight end. So you got some names in this team. Mike Golick on defense. So you got some names, but the team was 6-5. We'll see how they do in this World Cup. East Carolina, 8-3. We reckon Ernest Biner at running back. So you got Biner and Mack, the backfield for the Browns in the future in this World Cup. Nice. Defense. I don't recognize them on defense, really. I was 9 years old in '83. I have a pretty good memory. Nebraska is kind of my team back then. I love Nebraska. I don't know why. I really don't know why, but I love Nebraska. I like to watch. I didn't own any T-shirts or anything, but I like to watch them play. I guess you can say I didn't really. I guess I rooted for them. but I like to watch him play. So I know this roster pretty good. Turner Gill, who you if you're young, you probably don't know who he is. He didn't play in the NFL, but he was a great college quarterback, great option quarterback. Mike Rozier, you probably recognize his name. NFL. Irving Fryer, of course, had a great NFL career. On defense, trying to see any great defensive players in this team. I don't really see anybody. That's great. So that's their team there. The Seminoles, see what they had in '83, 6-5, but they got in there based on the other. They had a tough schedule, probably why. Lowry is the quarterback. Greg Allen, I remember him a little bit. Jesse Hester, Ouija Thompson, Hassan Jones, pretty good receiving core. Defense, who they had a defense I recognize. I recognize a man defense there. That's Florida State. The Wolverines, Big Blue. Steve Smith at quarterback. You got Jim Harbaugh as a backup through 5 passes. Of course, he takes over, I think, in '84 and '85. Rick Rowd. I don't really recognize these guys here. I don't really recognize this 9-3 Michigan team. I don't really recognize a lot of these guys on there, except for Harbaugh. Illinois, Mike White's the coach. Jack Trudeau had a long NFL career, mostly a backup in there. Defense, Daryl Thompson. I think I remember him a little bit. But Trudeau as their quarterback. Auburn, of course, they should be fun now. Auburn, Randy Campbell, a quarterback. But here's Bo Jackson, 1,213 yards in the year. Lionel James, Little Train James, Tommy Agee, Brent Fullwood. And that's a backfield, folks. That's a strong running back room right there. Receivers, I don't recognize receivers. They're going to run the ball. These three here had 115 carries, 124, 158. Good Lord. And then Campbell, the quarterback, so they don't really pass the ball, do they? 142 attempts in 11 games is not much. They're going to run the ball down your damn throat. Defense, I don't really see anybody on defense. So Auburn 10-1 that year. They'll be tough. Iowa Hawkeyes, Hayden Fry is their coach. Chuck Long, of course. Remember Chuck Long, who was a real good quarterback in college. Had an NFL career that wasn't that great with the Lions because they're the Lions. It might not have been his fault. I remember Ronnie Harmon was really good. Um, I don't think it was his best year. I think he was more '85. They were number one in the country in '85, Iowa was, for a while. And that's when Ronnie Harmon was a senior and Chuck Long was a senior. This is a young Hawkeye team. Kind of a young Hawkeye team a couple years before they got really good. Hurricanes, the national champions. Howard Schellenberger, who missed his last year of coaching before Jimmy Johnson takes over for him. You got Bernie Kosar at the quarterback. Albert Bentley, Keith Griffin, Alonzo Highsmith. Highsmith only got 19 carries that year, so he wasn't the full on. Eddie Brown, a receiver. Defense, Kevin Fagan, Jerome Brown, who teamed up Reggie White with the Eagles back in the day. Winston Moss. Some names in there too. So the Hurricanes. The Terps, Bobby Ross, their coach, 8-3 in the year. Boomer Esiason and Frank Reich are their quarterbacks. Boomer's the starter. So that's a good team there. I don't recognize their running backs, and I don't recognize their wide receivers. Defense, I don't recognize anyone on defense, but they got Boomer and Frank Reich, 8-3. The Hokies, Bill Dooley. I don't recognize their quarterbacks. Tony Page, I remember him a little bit. Don't recognize receivers. Bruce Smith on defense. That's the big guy. 7 sacks. Big Bruce Smith. So he's kind of the star. Got to know what Bruce Smith is. So he's kind of the main marquee guy for them. Memphis, they have no idea who Memphis State has in this team. 6-4-1. I don't recognize anybody. Not a soul. Not a soul. So they're the nameless wonders. I'm sure Memphis fans go, oh yeah, I know that guy. I do nothing. The Gators. Charlie Pell, the last coach before Spurrier. Spurrier takes over a few years down the road here. Wayne Peace at quarterback. Neil Anderson. Neil Anderson was a bad mofo. Really good in the pros. Walter Payton kind of took over for Walter Payton. He was good in college too. It wasn't his best year. I think the next year was a better year. Ricky Nattiel had a good career in the NFL as well. Defense. Let's see if I recognize one in defense. I do not. I do not. But Neil Anderson, legit. Buckeyes 83. Earl Bruce. What do they have? Mike Tomczak at quarterback. Keith Byers had a great career. John Frank had a pretty good career in the NFL as a tight end in there. Defense. Who do I know in defense? Anybody? Anybody? Sean Gale played with the Bears in 85. Well, not too shabby there. Boston College. I think we got Flutie on here. Jack Bicknell Sr. We got Flutie. This is not his Heisman year. Of course, the next year he wins the Heisman. This year, pretty damn good. 2,700 yards of rushing or throwing. 17 TDs, 15 picks. Troy Stratford is a great. So this is a good team. The year before they're really, really good. Brian Brennan, Gerald Phelan, Calvin Martin. So they got a good team here. Defense. Who do I know on defense? Anyone on defense I know? Steve Diassi had an NFL career. Or Steve Diassi. So 9-2 Boston College Eagles. They could be tough, folks. They could be tough in this one. The Sooners. Who do the Sooners have? Barry Switzer, the coach. 8-4. Not a good year for Oklahoma back then by their standards. They won the national title 2 years later, 85. I don't remember Court Bradley. Spencer Tillman, who's on TV now. Great running back. Marcus Dupree. This is not Marcus' the best year, but watch the 30 for 30. You got Marcus Dupree on there. I think he really goes off in 85 season or 84 season next year. But Spencer Tillman's your main guy there. Buster Rhymes, the receiver. On defense, do I know anybody? Tony Casillas on defense. There's Tony over there. Dwight Drain. The Volunteers. Alan Cockrell, don't remember him at all. Or Robinson. I don't recognize these guys at all. Tim McGee, remember him? Played for the Bengals for a little bit. A receiver. Suave Reves, their kicker. He had a good long career in the NFL. Reggie White on defense. You got Reggie White and Jerome Brown in the World Cup. Reggie White with 15 sacks. Holy. Reggie McKenzie, NFL as well. That's a pretty good defense right there. Charles Davis is the guy on TV. You might see him on TV. Does some announcing. So Tennessee with a defense. You got Reggie White, you got Jerome Brown, Bruce Smith in this World Cup. Good stuff. Oklahoma State, coached by Jimmy Johnson, his last year with the Cowboys before he takes over for the Hurricanes, 8-4. Rusty Hilger at quarterback. He had a pretty good career. Like, he had a long career in the NFL. Not a great career, but a long career. I don't recognize anybody else though. Defense, Leslie O'Neal. He was really good in the NFL. He's good there. It's 11 sacks. Rodney Harding. They've had some guys who could sack him. So the Cowboys are going to bring the defense. That's going to be a good defensive game right there. Tennessee Oklahoma State. Missouri, 7-5. I don't recognize their quarterback. I don't recognize their running backs or their receivers. How about defense? I don't recognize anyone deep. So another no-name team. They could surprise them, folks. Penn State, defending national champions, 7-4 and 183. Let's see who they have. They got Doug Strange. DJ Dozier was a good back. Played in the NFL as well. So DJ Dozier was a good back there. 1,000 yards rushing. I don't recognize the receivers. On defense, they lost all the guys from that 82 team. They lost Todd Blackledge. Shane Conlon's in there. Shane Conlon is in there. Scott Radisick. Mike Zordich. A couple of guys in there. Bama, Ray Perkins, 7-4 in a year. Walter Lewis, don't know him. Don't know running backs. Don't know receivers. Defense. I don't recognize anyone in defense. So a no-name Bama team. Pitt Panthers, 83. Fazio. This is the year they lost Dan Marino. He's in the NFL his rookie year. They got John Congemi. I mean, you guys don't know who probably that is, but I grew up watching kind of Eastern football. I remember John Congemi, a good quarterback. Um, I don't recognize their running backs though. I don't recall them. They had some good ones over the year, but not 83. I don't recall Joe McCall. Chris Dolan on defense. That's a bad boy right there. Bill Moss. That's a good defense. 8-3-1 for Pitt that year. Tar Heels, 8-4. Dick Crum is their coach. Scott Stankovich. Don't remember him. Don't remember those guys at all. I know nobody on offense. Defense, William Fuller is a good defensive guy. I remember him. And that's it. Of course, they lost Lawrence Taylor, I think the year before, or 2 years earlier. LT. Southern Miss, 7-4. Robert Duxworth, I remember him. All the running backs. Lewis Lips. Lewis Lips was a bad boy. 42 catches, 5 TDs. That's not the Jim Brown we all know of. Different Jim Brown. Chris Jackson, 10 sacks. I don't remember him at all. But Lewis Lips, the deep threat. So we've got to watch him. Of course, they have a great quarterback to get the ball to him. So that could be a problem. The Bulldogs went 10-1-1. John Lastinger, I don't really remember him. Clarence Kay had a great career in the NFL, a long career. Defense, let's see if I recognize anybody here. I don't. Kind of a no-name Georgia team, but a good one. Longhorns, 11-1. So that Georgia Texas game is going to be a good one. Going to be a good one, a barn burner. Let's see. I don't remember anybody in Texas. I don't remember that quarterback. On defense, don't recognize him. So Georgia Tech's are two powers, but kind of no names. Guys who didn't do much in the NFL. That's all right. UCLA Washington little Pac-8 matchup. Terry Donahue and Rick Neuheisel and Steve Bono. Neuheisel, who of course, became a coach, kind of a shady coach. Look at the year he had. 2,245 yards passing. It's big back then. Kevin Nelson, I don't remember him that much. Mike Sherrard, I remember him. He was kind of a bust in the NFL. He kind of came out on notoriety, but he didn't do much in the NFL. Carl Durrell, of course, was a UCLA coach later on. He's in there. Defense. I don't see anybody I know on defense. 7-4-1 for the Bruins. Huskies. Don James, 8-3. Steve Pelluer at quarterback, played for the Cowboys and a few other teams. I don't recognize any receivers or running backs. Defense. I don't recognize anybody on defense. Two teams to go. The Mountaineers, Don Nehlen, 9-3. Jeff Hostetler, of course, would lead the Giants to the Super Bowl when Phil Simms got hurt. I think he married Don Nehlen's daughter as well. I think that's correct. Ron Wolfley had a pretty decent career in the NFL. I don't recognize anybody else there on offense, but Wolfley and Hostetler. Defense, I don't see anybody on defense either. 9-3 for them. The Badgers, Dave McClain, 7-4. Randy Wright, don't remember him at all. Al Toon, that's a great receiver for the New York Jets. At 45 catches, 9 TDs. Defense. No somebody else. So that's it. That's the rundown. So I'll come back later on and I play this out. I'll probably gonna play along with the Women's World Cup actually. And then when the football season starts, I think we're gonna do a '93 World Cup. Um, kind of do the anniversary. It's 40 years ago the season was played. I'm probably gonna do '93, and then I'll do '98, and then 2013, something like that. So World Cup. Remember again how this works. These teams play each other. They play 3 games. The top 2 teams advance from each group. Give us 16 teams, and it's 1 game elimination. Tiebreakers are going to be the point differential. So if you can see right here in this one, if you go by record-wise, right? BC and Pittsburgh should advance, right? In Group B, should be BYU and Clemson probably are the favorites. Group C should be Michigan, Illinois advancing. Group D should be Auburn, and then you got a little Iowa, Virginia Tech. It's kind of a toss up there. I'm guessing Iowa though. I'll probably go Iowa, Auburn, Iowa. Group E, Miami, and then you got pretty even here. Come out of there. Nebraska, and will come out, and then probably West Virginia. We'll see. Kind of wide open right here. Group G is wide open. And then Georgia and Texas appear to be the big favorites here. But you may see Notre Dame shock. East Carolina, we'll see. We'll see. But that's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Once again, 2nd and 10. They don't pay me, but check it out. You pay 1 fee. It's a Richard Hanna game, but you'll enjoy it. If you have any questions, definitely leave a comment and let me know. But it's a great game, and I hope you enjoy it. Thanks, guys.